Hey, I'm Luke.
And I'm Gus, and we are Voila, and we're here with The Buzz.
Might be selfish, I can't help it, and I swear I never felt this. Sorry, darling, but I hope that I go first. Just don't wanna miss up.
We actually met the first day of college. We both went to music school in California, and I was late to class, just like I was late to the interview today. And
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. I don't evolve. And there was like two empty seats in the class, and one of them was next to a girl who I met at orientation, and very nice girl, but not the girl that you want to sit next to if you want to make a good impression, because she was a talker. So I was like, oh, I'm not gonna like know what's happening in this class at all. And then I saw this guy who had a man bun, and I go, I have a man bun. We have something in common. I'm about to make a friend. Thank God I sat next to him. We immediately talked about music. We bonded over Avicii, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the first mutual thread. And then Gus said, I actually have a studio set up in my dorm room. I'm a producer. And I was like, wow. And at the time I was a DJ. And so we went to his little dorm room studio and started making a song right away. And we've been making songs every day since. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We started back at school just playing like frat parties and stuff. Yeah. So that was an interesting time. Yeah. But we took it from there, and then added a bunch of instruments to it. The way we actually started learning to produce was like trying to recreate some of the remixes that we would hear online. Yeah. So like, I think quite a good way for anyone who's trying to learn how to produce is like, try and understand how to recreate some of your favorite songs and try and find a way to make sounds that sound like things you like. Yeah. And that's how we started. And then Voila was like the next evolution past, okay, now we found songs where we can produce to a level where we sound like other people and it's at that professional level. Then it's like, okay, what makes you unique? Adding guitar, adding vocals, then it became Voila.
Yeah. It wasn't always Voila. At first, it was Goldilocks because we both had long blonde hair. I thought that was really good, and it wasn't really good.
Unforgivable.
It's actually kind of terrible. The more I tell the story, the worse it feels that was a part of the history of the band.
So horrific.
So Goldilocks lasted for a second, and then it turned into Symphony, which was good. I mean, we even had merch for that for a second. Yeah. So that one lasted.
And we had the logo at Summerfest.
Yes.
On a massive LED wall.
Yeah, we played some shows.
Our biggest show ever, maybe.
Was that Martin Garrix?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Where we opened up for Martin Garrix's Symphony, and then we decided all of that momentum wasn't worth it because we didn't like the name. Yeah. So then we turned to Captain and Mamba, which sounds like a D-list superhero movie, and it was worse than that. It was I went by Captain in high school as a nickname, but also a DJ project. I don't know where Mamba came from.
No, it was like a producer alias.
Yeah. So that didn't last. And then Gus said, I'm gonna change the name. And I was like, dude, if we change this one more time, like,
this is it.
I'm out. This is the last one.
Yeah. It's like this, if we change the name, this is the final name change. Yeah. I'm done with this app.
We had so many emails.
I'm done.
Just dead emails. Yeah. And all the Gmail handles were crazy at that point. And I said, okay, I grew up loving magic, and I love magicians. I think that art form of making something look like something it's not is kind of what we do. You know, we make songs that sound euphoric and happy, but really they come from places of pain. So I just love the concept of magicians and illusion. So I thought abracadabra. And then that turned to Voila. And the reason we went with Voila is the literal translation is there you are. And I think with music, you want to be a mirror, not a megaphone. You want people to see themselves in the music. And so I want people to listen to Voila and go, there I am. So there you are, Voila. One of my dearest friends, and I hope he's not dear enough to watch this, but to this day, like, has been to multiple Voila shows, and still is like, man, Viola, like, you guys are awesome. Like, I tell him about that, and I don't have the heart to tell him because it's in the right place. So you're just like, yeah, yeah, for sure.
Drop dead gorgeous. I think she knows it. I think she knows it. That she's drop dead gorgeous. I think she knows.
I didn't even know Gus could sing when we were doing the DJ thing. How crazy is that? We were getting singers to come in, and then we were at my hometown preparing a DJ set, and Gus was just like singing a melody or something, and my mom was like, Gus can sing, and I was like, Gus, you can sing? And we then just started applying some poetry that I had written to the productions that we were making, and Gus singing it. And then I grew up a guitar player. I was like, well, I can just add some guitar to this. And then we started talking about artists that we liked, and it was Green Days and Fall Out Boys. And yeah, and then we just kind of realized, why don't we just do what we like, which was being a band.
I can't seem to drown you out long enough. I fell victim to the sound of your love.
The doors open, you turn on all the
Yeah.
equipment. What's the start?
I would say most times it evolves from building out an instrumental on my end, like some bass line progression, some melodic structure that makes me feel something, has like an emotional component to it. I always compare it to like dance music back in the day, when sometimes there was no vocal on it, but it would still make people feel like a deep emotional connection. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of people go to massive festivals and there's no lyrics. It's the craziest thing ever. And that level of like emotional connection that an instrumental can give you, I think is really, really special. And we try and insert that at the beginning stages of every song. And then I'll send like a rough melodic idea with that to Luke, normally like at random points, like, you know, middle of the night, I get some idea. I'm like, oh, this is what it's gonna be, boom, send it across. And he will literally go into his poems. I mean, I'm speaking for you at this point, but essentially then fill those pockets of melody with lyrics that Luke already had, or at least is pulling inspiration from stuff he has been building. So we are literally 50-50 on that. Like I produce and do melody, and Luke conceptually and lyrically provides the other half.
Like I'll just hear something that someone says, I like kind of like cannibalize conversations I have with people, you know, we're talking and all of a sudden I go, that's an interesting way of saying that, and I'll just write that down in my notes. I do more like traditional poetry in different journals. I like a lot of people who I love will give those to me as presents, little journals, and I have like one in my car. And I kind of just write stuff in there. So they're in a bunch of different places, but I would say the phone is usually the quickest access point, and then also you can search on the phone. So if I think, you know, if he sends me a melody and there is like a word or two that sounds like a vowel would fit there, I can type into my phone a word and then find poems that are based around that. And yeah.
Like what we will do is, if we get to a point where a song just isn't quite inspiring us to like finish it, we'll move to something fresh, because it's very easy to concoct inspiration from something that initially makes you want to finish it, right? But it's much harder when you're further down the process and you're like, is my time wasted? How are we going to get this across the line? So for us, it's like we will just move on, and then often, a lot of times, we'll come back to something, and the initial reason that we did it in the first place then reignites that passion for it, and that's when we finish it,
1,000%.
Instead of the day we had writer's block.
Yeah, I think that if I was to think about the writing process in general, like songwriting process, my advice to anyone would be, don't just write songs, just become a writer. Growing up, I wanted to be an author, so I still write short stories. I write poetry. I read a lot, and I think it's kind of like, if you were an actor, you wouldn't want to just go to acting class. You'd also want to be a person, have conversations, so you can pull from real life. I think writing is the same way. Write outside of music, because then when we go and write a song, you can pull from things that aren't songwriting, and it doesn't feel like a writer's block or a pressure, or I'm only a songwriter.
We keep songs in the can sometimes. We keep them, if a song doesn't feel right to be on a project, like it's just gonna wait. It's gonna sit on the sides for a second. But we put a big emphasis on having enough songs constantly to be able to pull from. I never want to be in a place where we have to put out a song because we're coming up on 3 weeks and we have nothing else. Like that to me is a complete disaster. Like we've done something very wrong if that's the case. But like for this last tour, like one of my main goals was to keep producing on the road. Like we want to put music out when we're on tour, for instance, and like to keep that system going, you just do have to be constantly creating, which is really important for our team to understand that too, because we need to put pieces in place as an independent artist to allow everyone on the team to do what is the most valuable for them, right? And that's a really interesting process that we've like struggled with over the years, is like, how do you not micromanage all the other million things that you have to do as an artist that you don't realize when you get into this for the first time. You know, you make some songs, suddenly a little bit of traction happens, you're like, this is amazing. But then suddenly there's 10,000 other responsibilities that suddenly go on your plate and you're like, oh, I didn't think about this. So it's really important to delegate really well and get A-grade people around you and keep them around you and make sure that there's something in it for them long term. And that, I think, is what we're kind of looking at now as like our next piece of the journey.
Sometimes when you know, and I think the second that Chrissy came in and we did the Caught It thing, it's just magic. And like I said at the beginning of our conversation, I love magic. I think that there is a ingredient that she adds to the songwriting process that is not quantifiable. It's just, I think it's vision and love and passion that she has. So working with her was great because we all just aligned on what it was we wanted to say, which I think was just like the truth. And we worked really hard on the storytelling stuff, and we worked hard on telling the story. And the like actual A to B of how it started was she was a fan of the band, which is great. And she had, I think, commented on one of our posts about a song that she liked, and we reached out to make that happen. But collaborating with her felt like just collaborating with ourselves. Yeah. Basically.
Pretty much all the songs we did have come out.
The first 7 that we did together, her EP is called 7 because it's 7 songs. The first 7 we did with her are the 7 songs on there.
Mm-hmm. And then, there's another one that might come out, might not. Can't say anything. But.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what's your excuse? You're dancing round the surgeon.
For me, we're in so it's the second half of our double album. Our thing is music every 3 weeks. We release a double album a year, which is about 25 songs a year-ish. Like for us, it was 12 on the first half, now 14, right? Mm-hmm. Something like that, so 26. For us,
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Sonically, it's not a departure. It's like what we truly believe Voila to be, which is kind of a mixture of like more pop leaning songs like Figure You Out, which is our main song, how people have discovered us up until this point. But then also we've got a lot heavier leaning songs. There's a song called All Sales Are Final with Lauren Sanderson, who's amazing, another independent artist.
Yeah, really good.
Who's an absolute rock star. And that to me is one of my favorite productions we've ever done. It's really heavy, but it's really catchy at the same time. And I think the production definitely like has certain elements that we've done on a song 3 years ago, where everything was a little bit more pop and a little bit more sort of like squeaky clean, and then certain elements that are a lot more heavy and a lot more left of center. So I think there's a big variety going on in part 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's called Glass Half Empty, and I think that part of the reason for that is like I haven't like had the happiest last few years, and so it's like I'm looking at life with the glass half empty mentality, and I think that this second half is like less about looking at is it half full or half empty. It's more looking at what's in the glass. And some of the songs are champagne, right? Some of them are happy songs. Some of them are medicine, right? Glass half empty, full of medicine, because it's like I'm healing from it, so I'm halfway there. And then there's also poison, you know, some of it songs that just are about things that aren't good for you at all. And I think that that's where the variety comes from.
November 22nd is part 2, Glass Half Empty. We've got a song coming out tonight, which obviously is going to be already have happened when this goes live, with a band called The Word Alive, who are actually fucking amazing. This guy called Telly, we did it with, unbelievable voice. So yeah, November 22nd, that's the day. We go on tour on the 20th We're playing Manchester, Birmingham, and London. So I think one of the show nights is going to be the same night the album comes out, right? Or
Maybe.
is it an off day?
I'm bad at dates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the date. That's the date. And we can't wait.
What's up? It's Luke and Gus. This is our tour merch, but we have something interesting this time. First edition trading cards, 1,000 packs with a lot of rare cards within them, including an illusion card. Now there's 7 in 1,000 packs. And essentially you get VIP access to 1 show a year for life, as long as you have the card. And you get access to an unreleased song no one else is gonna hear, just you and the 6 other people that pull the card. So this is on tour, selling these guys. Come here, check it out. Look at this. We got music video cards, we got tour cards, we have people cards, song cards, record cards. That's it for now. Good luck.
The whole reason why we do this, to be honest, it's now become the inspiration. We believe that like the most important part of us making music is to give the people that give their time to us the absolute maximum value we can. And so we're very much like, hey, if you're listening to one of our songs, we want to give you more, and we want to like literally do as much as we can to connect with you guys. So our Discord community, they're called the Magicians, Voila Magicians. And essentially we get on there every 2 weeks. Luke does podcasts, talks about the meaning behind songs. I do like production tutorials on there, take like Q&As. We have a release party coming up on Saturday for the new song. Like we get on there, celebrate it, watch lyric videos with them. And then they have tons of their own events. They have like F1 racing watch-alongs, movie watch-alongs. We're planning. We could announce that we're planning something next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you want to say that one?
Yeah, we're after we finish this tour, we want to go on like a Discord tour, and basically have people who might not necessarily be in that community yet or know about the Discord come there, and we're gonna have like a full tour poster and campaign around coming to these events. So we're going to have Cards Against Voila, which is our version of Cards Against Humanity. We're gonna have Voila Pictionary, a big trivia contest, which we do right now every like 3 months. We're gonna do an acoustic virtual concert. We're going to have the Roast of Sutton, which is one of our crew members who our community has latched onto and loves to roast him. And yeah, we're gonna do a bunch of different events. We're gonna do a watch party of some of the movies that I've been in, and I'm gonna do some behind the scenes of that. And yeah, it's gonna be fun. We might even do a bracket, like a March Madness bracket with all of our songs, and then see what in the community is the actual favorite.
And it's the most special, it's the most inspiring and special thing, because kind of to what we were mentioning earlier in terms of like how you pick songs, one of my absolute favorite things is seeing that certain pieces of the community adopt certain songs that might not be the commercial success songs. They're often like, there's a song called Petals, there's a song called Voodoo, there's a song called Cruel, and none of those are even in our top 10, I don't think. Voodoo might be in our top 10. And they become like cult favorites within the community. And to me, seeing those songs resonate so heavily with people, just because we have that close connection and we can get in there and have those relationships and really understand what people want and like, is another reason we release so much music. It's because like, if we don't finish the songs that might not be the big singles, then that person in the community
doesn't
that
get the song.
doesn't get the song. So
And that's
I think
no fun.
it's become, like Luke has said, like they are our boss. They really are. As an independent artist, the label's not the boss, the community is. And fundamentally, we are just so grateful that they allow us to do this. Like, this is a dream job for anyone, and I'll never, ever not see that so clearly. So I just have massive gratitude to them, and will honestly do anything to make them happy and serve them.
It's also so fun because you realize that these are people who are literally coming to your show excited to sing the worst moments of your life back at you, and then now the worst moments of my life kind of are exciting, right? I'm excited to play songs about things that were horrible because people are there with me, doing it with me. And I mean, come on.
Yeah,
we literally had them choose our set list for this last tour, because who else are we going to turn to? We literally asked them, what songs do you want to hear? And then we took the top 12 and we played them. I mean, imagine if like your best friend was like, dude, I'm so excited to see you so we can talk about all the stuff that broke your heart. You'd be like, what are you talking about? But that's what and I'm pumped. I'm pumped to see them. They make shirts with lyrics where I'm like, man, that really sucked, and now it doesn't suck anymore. They take all of the pain and medicine it up, and then give it to you, and then now it's champagne.
If silence is golden, then we must be rich. But the breath that we're holding is feeling counterfeit. The time that you've stolen shouldn't hurt like this.
Hi, I'm Luke.
And I'm Gus.
We're Voila.
And you've just been buzzed. Yeah, but what about that lyrics? Just right there, that's a song. He said all the pain turns into medicine and now it's champagne. That's a song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. Oh, that was well put.